It's UT Nighttime with Mason Lowry. On tonight's show, comedian Owen Thomas. And now, first National Sperm Banks Man of the Year, Mason Lowry.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Now, are you here for the show or are you just here for the free orange drink? I think they're here for the show. Clearly, they didn't know what I was talking about. So I'm thinking they're here to see me and see you.
I was told about orange drink. That's the only reason I'm here. So
isn't that good stuff?
It is.
There's no juice. It's just it's so good.
It is delicious.
It's great stuff. Well, guys, it finally happened. Mount Redoubt, the volcano in Alaska, finally erupted last week. There's this huge ash cloud, almost said ass cloud, ash cloud, over the state that's expected to cause a lot of havoc and, more importantly, did your cell phone just go off? You're such a tool.
I apologize.
Anyway, ash cloud.
Yeah, I deserve that.
Ash cloud wreaking havoc all over the state of Alaska, and more importantly, it is going to destroy Governor Palin's view of Russia. So it's a thing. In a joint press conference earlier this week with British Prime Minister Gordon Brown, Brazilian PM Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, that's a name, isn't it?
That is quite a name.
I'm lucky I got that out all in one piece. Anyway, this guy says that white people with blue eyes are to blame for the current global economic crisis. Da Silva later said that he was sorry and apologized to all of the damn honkies that were offended. It's funny because honkies are white people and white people are funny. Man in Saginaw, Michigan earlier this week was sentenced to 90 days in prison. This is pretty weird. After police found him having sex with a car wash vacuum.
All right.
What the hell is wrong with you? Anyway, when a judge asked him to comment about this, he said, quote, "It sucks." It's a cheap joke, but I like it. Earlier this week, a California man suspected of drunk driving crashed into a house in San Diego, revealing a huge marijuana farm inside. Sweet. We have the strangest audiences for this show.
We do. I noticed that. That's interesting.
Upon questioning, the owners of the home said that they were just beginning the Michael Phelps Olympic diet. Means there was also lots of Cheetos in there as well, I'm assuming. HBO planning a film about the Clintons, the Clinton family, with Julianne Moore and Dennis Quaid playing the first couple. Well, meanwhile, the real Bill Clinton is still trying to greenlight his own film, Bubba's Bootylicious Bitches 3.
I've seen the first two, Mason.
They like that one.
First two are pretty good. Three should be even better. Yeah, the crowd loves you. You don't have to you don't have to run in place this week. That's good.
At minor league baseball games of the West Michigan Whitecaps, that's a minor league affiliate of the Detroit Tigers, they'll be serving the Fifth Third Burger. It's got 5/3 pounds of beef. Why don't we get a picture of this? We got this. Doesn't that just look?
This sounds disgusting.
Doesn't that just look so damn good? Anyway, 1 2/3 pounds of beef, bacon, lettuce, tomato, sour cream, salsa, cheese, chili, and Fritos. Isn't that incredible? Sells for $20, feeds up to 4 people or 1 Kirstie Alley. So that's she's a big lady. Front row seating at the new Yankee Stadium is going for over $2,600. Yeah, they're calling the seats behind third base AIG row. President Obama, he did his online town hall meeting Wednesday, guys, and he received over 104,000 emails from concerned citizens. That sounds pretty impressive, but 103,000 of those messages asked the president if he would like to prolong his lovemaking pleasure for pennies a night. Because there's nothing as funny as sex on the internet. Some conservative critics this week are arguing that the new proposal by Senator Benjamin Cardin that would allow print newspapers to run as nonprofit organizations would also allow for federal control of what newspapers can and cannot print. Yeah? You can read about it all in next week's What We Want You to Hear Illustrated. A rare 150 million year old skeleton, dinosaur skeleton, being sold in New York City failed to meet the $300,000 minimum bid at auction this week. Apparently nobody wants to spend that much money on Larry King. So, he's a very old man. And this was pretty sad. There's this skateboarding parrot, honest to God, named Gordo, in this small town in the San Fernando Valley. 30-year-old parrot can skateboard, stolen right off his front porch yesterday. Isn't that sad? Lead suspect in the case, Tony the Hawk. And finally, have you all been following the Alfie Patton saga? I'm guessing you haven't. Anyway, this kid, Alfie Patton, 13-year-old boy in England, looks like he's about 5 or 6 years old, very sad, had a child with his 14-year-old girlfriend earlier this year. Turns out he's not actually the father. Isn't that terrible? And things are getting even worse for him. He's already dating Madonna, so that's... All right, great show tonight. We'll be right back with an on-location bit from China right after this. Don't go away. Welcome back. UT Night Time, show number 6, going pretty well. It's a fun time, isn't it?
Great time.
Always a fun time. Now, most of you that watch our little show on YouTube, well, at least you did until tonight. Anyway, if you post videos on YouTube, you'll know that there is a feature called Insight that lets you track the views of your videos by location, how they saw the video online, even some demographic information. We've had a lot of fun looking over where our viewers come from. We've come to learn that we have viewers in many different countries. So we decided to send one of our own members of the staff here, camera operator Jason Hackley. We found that we had some viewers in China, believe it or not. And so we sent Hackley to all the way to China, honest to God, to see what people think of our show there. Jason, can you hear me? You there?
Yes, Mason, I can. Yeah, you don't have to shout.
I'm not shouting. What are you talking about? Just quit fiddling with the thing.
You have to speak up. I can't hear you.
Stop moving the damn earpiece. Just talk like a normal guy. You'll be fine. Can you hear me now? That's like a damn Verizon ad. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah. How are things back in the States, Mason?
Things are going real good. We've got like 8 or 9 people here or something like that tonight. How's China treating you?
Oh, China's great. As you can tell by this wall I'm standing on.
Now, how are you allowed to stand on that? That seems like some sort of flagrant violation of some sort of Chinese law. How did you manage to do that?
Oh, well, I don't know. I pulled a few strings.
Oh, that's great. What can you tell me about our popularity over in the Far East there?
Well, I did manage to find one viewer who actually watches our show here in China.
You're kidding. That's great.
Yeah. You know, amongst 1 billion people, you think it'd be fairly easy, but I tracked him down.
That's great, Jason. That's great. I can't believe you managed to do that. What did you find out about why they watch the show? Do they like it?
Yeah. Well, see, the thing, you resemble a man named Chow Yu. From what I understand, he's a Chinese folk legend.
Okay.
Yeah, he died at age 36 from frustrated impotence.
What? Frustrated impotence? That's horrible.
Yeah, he's just a poor guy. I mean, he couldn't keep it up. But I mean, Jimmy, interesting enough, actually bears an uncanny resemblance to Hung Young Guy. Are you familiar with him, Mason?
No, I'm not familiar with him.
Yeah, he's considered to be one of the greatest lovers in all of China.
No, wait a minute. Hung Young Guy. That sounds completely fake. You just made that up, didn't you, Jason?
Yeah. It was clever, right?
No, it wasn't clever. You probably just offended the largest group of people in the world. You should be ashamed of yourself. Get back here before you embarrass us even more.
Okay, yeah, I'm on my way.
That damn Hackley kid. Well, who does he think he is, anyway?
I don't know.
He's going to go and make fun of the largest group of people. That's something we would never do here on UT Nighttime.
How's it going, Mason?
What the hell are you doing? Weren't you just in China? How did you do that?
I was. I brought you a gift. That's the magic of technology these days.
Oh, that's great.
Enjoy.
What is this?
It's an authentic Chinese egg roll.
Jason, you clearly bought this at the Magic Walk in the Student Union. Explain yourself, young man.
One would assume so, but you saw me. I was in China. It's real.
Oh, get the hell out of here. Jason Hackley, everybody. Good Lord. We'll be right back. A very funny man, comedian Owen Thomas is with us, so stay tuned. Welcome back. YouTube Nighttime Mason Lowry. These egg rolls are really good, Jim.
Are they?
Excellent.
They look delicious.
The best you will ever have. Shame you didn't get one.
I know.
Now,
Thanks,
my first
Jason.
and only guest tonight, a very, very funny man. I actually saw this guy a couple weeks ago. I saw Norm Macdonald live at Connections Comedy Club here in Toledo. And Owen here, our guest, Owen Thomas, he blew him out of the water. He was absolutely hysterical. Very funny guy. Had to have him on the show. He's going to be performing some shows pretty soon here at the Funny Bone in Perrysburg from April 16th through the 19th. Also, Connections from the 22nd to the 25th of April. Please welcome, back to the Chinese bit we did earlier. Gonna get letters. Please welcome, very funny man, Owen Thomas. My hand's very greasy.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here. It's good to be making my television debut on such a prestigious network here. Thank you. Thank you all 10 of you for showing up today. But before I came here today, I had to stop in the dollar store. And, you can tell a lot about a store's clientele just based on the items in the checkout lane. It's like, most stores, it's like gum, Tic Tacs, or a magazine. Things you just kind of, buy on a whim. But the dollar store actually had home pregnancy tests in the checkout aisle. Which never really struck me as something that'd be like a last-minute impulse buy, Like you get to the register, like, I think I was missing something. Let's see, gum, Tic Tacs, and, oh yeah, my period. Yeah, so like Mason said, my name is Owen. I'm from Toledo. But I gotta say, it kind of sucks having the name Owen and living in Toledo. Because I always have some jackass ask me the same question, which is, hey, Owen, were you named after the community college? It's a little insulting. Like, what do they expect me to say to that? Like, yeah, I was, My parents didn't have very high expectations of me. But my sister, Yale, she's doing all right. My brother, GED, that guy's a real dumbass. So I don't know how you guys feel about the smoking ban in Ohio. You guys probably aren't even old enough to smoke. But yeah, pretty controversial. But even as a smoker, I don't really mind the ban because it's a nice change to come home from a bar and just smell like stale beer and desperation. Because I've never been the kind of guy who can just go out, pick up any woman. I've always been too self-conscious. I always feel whenever you're out trying to pick up women, you're really just a spokesman for your penis. I always feel like I turn into this sleazy used car salesman trying to sell them unwanted merchandise. So then I just started to promote my penis as if it were a car, then the sales pitch doesn't quite come out right. I was like, it's the 83 model. Decent condition, no leaks, one previous owner. And she was like, I didn't know you had the Mini Coupe. I know. So I was like, and I didn't know I had to fill a parking garage. It was a big vagina joke. That's what that was. But I was thinking, though, recently, it's got to be a different experience for guys and girls when they go out to bars or clubs. Because if you're an attractive woman, stepping into a bar has got to be like walking into your own amusement park. Where everything is free and you can go on any ride you want. I think women can sense which guys have low standards, because I'm like the ride at the park girls only go on because the line is always short. And there's no weight restrictions. And it's handicap accessible.
Well, that's why before sex, I just like to start out like it's a roller coaster announcement and let them know what they're in for. I'm like, thank you for riding Desperation Falls. You must be at least 18 years of age or willing to keep a secret to ride this attraction. We are not responsible for any lost articles of clothing. You may get wet on this attraction. After ride, please exit promptly. Pictures will be available in the lobby. This ride is approximately 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Thank you and enjoy your ride on Desperation Falls. So I think one of my problems is, at least all my female friends tell me I need to accessorize more because I don't have any cool tattoos or piercings. And it's not that I'm opposed to the idea of a tattoo. It's just my only fear of getting one is it'll leave me with a horrible reputation for the rest of my life. Like, remember a few years ago, the lower back tattoo every girl was getting? Which, of course, we all know today affectionately as a... Tramp stamp, you know, tramp stamp, ass antlers, bitch badge, you know, the bullseye, the ink above the stink, you know. We know the names, but most commonly known as a tramp stamp. Now, who wants to be stuck with that cute, degrading nickname for the rest of your life? I mean, do you realize, like, 50 years from now, we're going to have elderly women in nursing homes with tramp stamps? And I can just see it now, like some old lady's going to be bending over on a shuffleboard court. Then the orderly's just going to be standing there in the corner nudging his buddy like, dude, check out that old whore. I know. I heard she puts out after 2 Percocets. Making my move after Matlock. So I'm going to leave you on this. I think overall, I think it's easier being a guy. You know, we just got it easier because women hate other women too. You ever notice how condescending girls are towards one another? Like I say, because if I'm just describing what another guy looks like just for the sake of identification, I just stick to the basics. It's like, hey, Owen, do you know Mason? Oh, yeah, he's the tall guy with, you know, the Rick James hair and a goatee, right? But with girls, it's like, hey, do you know Kelly? Yeah, she's the bitch with the horse face. Like, really? Really? That's the only way you could describe her? I'd hate to hear what a woman's police report would sound like if there's no professional courtesy. Like, the suspect was a white female with stringy hair and a pasty complexion, wishing she was in her mid-20s. According to an eyewitness, the suspect had some wicked camel toe, a knockoff Gucci purse, and some ink above the stink. The suspect is known only under the alias Fat Whore, and was last seen leaving Desperation Falls. All right, guys, thank you.
Thanks. Owen Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with more from this guy right after this. Welcome back, everybody. We've got Owen Thomas here, very funny comedian, did a very funny set. Thanks so much for being on the show, man.
Yeah, no problem.
We appreciate it. What would make a guy want to start a career in stand-up comedy? That's got to be at times a horrifying thing.
What would make somebody?
Yeah.
Well, you got to have a passion for it, and health insurance has probably not got to be a big issue for you.
So, do you ever go and do shows and people are throwing rotten tomatoes at you, that kind of thing?
No,
shooting
mainly
poisonous darts at your neck, anything like that?
Nothing that creative. I usually just get like the typical "you suck" at the, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes words are more painful
scenario.
than things like bullets and such.
Sometimes.
Do you have any other comics that you look up to, or how old were you when you started doing this?
I was 23. I've been doing this for a little over 2 years now.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, I mean, I like George Carlin, Bill Hicks, Patton Oswalt, the guys who just kind of push the envelope, aren't afraid to say whatever comes to their mind.
Yeah. Now, you judged this year's Last Rocket Standing contest, right?
That is
Here
correct.
on campus, we had Chris Sinchak, guy who won that competition. He was our very first guest on the show. Very, very funny guy. What was it like to judge other stand-ups like that?
It was cool, having a little bit more experience,
Right.
getting to see people who are just starting out now, and get to see kind of like how far I've come, at the same time, trying to help out newcomers. So it was really cool.
What did you like about Chris?
Chris, he was very poised. He had his, you could tell he definitely had more experience than most of them. Then he slipped me a 20 before the show. So,
Sexual favors, that kind of thing? Do you by slip me a 20, do you mean the dollar bill or something much more unsavory?
No comment.
Can never reveal a source, right?
No.
Do you ever run into really bizarre things happening at shows? And obviously nobody throws stuff at you, but really weird things.
I'd say my most memorable show would be when I was doing Up in Detroit when I first started. I was hosting.
Holy Lord.
And basically what I learned that show was that like drunken women are pretty much the terrorists of comedy shows.
Especially in Detroit. I mean, that's a tough place.
Well, it was a bachelorette party.
Holy Lord.
Yeah. And before the show, a waitress comes up to me and says, hey, a friend of the bachelorette wants to make a toast, wants to get up on stage, say something. And she gave me $20 and I'll split it with you. So I'm like, oh, I'm just a whore in this business, as you can see, I'll do whatever.
This can only be good.
Yeah. So I let her up on stage. She babbles a few incoherent words, and the rest of the show,
kind of like what we do here.
Yeah. The rest of the show, they just thought was just devoted to them. So I just stirred up this big drunken hornet's nest.
Ooh.
And by the time like the headliner came on, like hecklers were heckling their heckles, like the whole room had just turned against them. And then the headliner had made a comment like, "Hey, weren't you one of the stars in Two Girls, One Cup?" At which point the bachelorette wound up in the bathroom crying at the end of the show. So needless
You're a
to say,
bad man.
needless to say, I did not make my $10 off that deal. So.
All right, you'll be appearing at the Funny Bone. That's in Perrysburg, right?
Correct.
16th through the 19th of April. Connections Comedy Club, 22nd through the 25th of April. Also, go out and see this guy. There's something else I wanted to say, and then my mind went blank. Does that ever happen when you're on stage? Do you ever just completely lose your mind and forget what's going on, just kind of stare?
No, I don't suck.
Well, touche.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair enough. Owen Thomas, everybody, thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Now, we got an equally great show next week. We're very excited about this. We're going to have live via satellite the star, writer, creator, and star of the popular YouTube phenomenon Dorm Life. Chris W. Smith will be on the show next week, so make sure you tune in for that. I'd like to say goodnight on behalf of everyone here, all of the staff, Jimmy Momini, who's not, I pointed over there and he's not there anymore. He's sitting right over there. Owen Thomas. I'm Mason Lowry. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks again, man.